Hi everybody, Mary here from A Recreated Life, and today I am making fried rice. This is a recipe I got off from foodwishes.com. Check out their videos on YouTube, they're really good. But this one was so good I actually wrote it down, and I've made it three times and I absolutely love it. So tonight is fried rice night, and you make it in the oven, you don't fry it at all. So anyway, here, so the instructions say to preheat the oven to 400. I've got that done. It says to put our rice, this is 2 cups of rice. For the full recipe, go to foodwishes.com, guys. So put the rice in a baking dish and drizzle the oils. There's 2 different kinds of oil. It calls for canola oil. I don't have canola. I just use my olive oil. So 2 teaspoons of this. And I'm using just plain white rice today, guys. You can use whatever rice you want, but I'm just using white rice. And then it also calls for 1 tablespoon of sesame oil. Chef John says that this is a must. Do not skimp on this, he says. It's a must. The last time I made this, I made it with a hot, it was a sesame oil that had heat to it, and boy oh boy, that was a little bit much. So I'm not doing that this time. So it says drizzle the oils, toss to coat the rice completely, and he means completely. He says he wants to make sure that you need to make sure that every single speck of rice has been coated with oil. So that's our goal here, guys. I can smell that sesame oil. It smells really good. It's going to be delish. Now, what I'm making tonight is pork fried rice. I've got some leftover shredded pork that I had in the crock pot, and I'm using that tonight. And he suggests on the website, if you go check it out, he suggests that, wow, this seems like a lot of oil, but it's really not, guys. Anyway, he suggests that you use like leftover spare ribs from the Chinese restaurant. Works really good in here. Boy, I bet you he's right. Okay, so to this, I need to add my garlic. Calls for 3 cloves. And I've got tiny cloves. I almost used more, but I thought, no, I'm going to go by the instructions. That sesame oil really smells good, guys. This makes a pretty good amount. I mean, there's 2 cups of oil in there. 2 cups of rice in there, so it makes a pretty good amount. So it says add the garlic, the green onion. Now this calls for green onion. I do not have green onion, but I do have onion, just regular onion out of my garden. So it calls for green onion, which I'm using onion out of my garden. I'm using green pepper out of my garden, and I've got carrots in here. Now this is way more carrots than the recipe calls for, but I had some in my crisper that needed to be used. So I'm just gonna use, I don't care if there's more. It doesn't matter to me if there's more in than the recipe calls. It also calls for peas. So I'm adding onion, bell pepper, carrots, peas. Recipe calls for ham, but like I said, I am using pulled pork. And just mix that all up. Oh, a little bit of salt. This is sea salt that I'm using. Really well. My vegetables have been in the freezer, so they're kind of frozen in chunks. The meat's kind of chunky, so I'm just going to make sure that I mix this up real well. What we're going to do is put tin foil on it and cook it in the oven. Isn't that wonderful, guys? This is one dish. It's really great. You got to check this guy out, though. His name is Chef John, and he has his website and YouTube channel is called foodwishes.com, and he is hilarious. He could be a comedian. Okay, stir very well, he says. So there's all stirred. And then the next thing we have to do is we have to put this chicken stock. It says combine the chicken broth, the soy sauce, and the chili paste. Now the recipe calls for 2 teaspoons of chili paste. I am not doing that. It was way too hot. When it makes your lips burn, that's too hot for me. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit, like 1/8 of a teaspoon of the chipotle pepper powder, and I'm going to mix it in with my chicken broth when I put it in. So it calls for 3 cups of chicken broth. This is my own homemade broth that I had in the freezer. I thawed out yesterday. See, when I planned my my dinner menu out last night, so I was planned well in advance to be able to have it out and thawed. Now this calls for 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. So I'm just going to use 1/8 of a teaspoon of the chipotle pepper. And guys, I just use what I have. I mean, I don't have what he calls for, but I don't care. I just use what I've got. So I'm going to turn you guys around so you can watch me heat up the broth. Oops. A few frozen bits of broth, if that's okay. Just going over my list to make sure I have everything. I bet this would be delicious with ham though. So I got the rice, the oil, sesame oil, garlic, onion, red pepper, carrots, peas, pork, salt, broth, soy sauce, and a little bit of chili powder. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to get this to boiling and let's see, bring to a boil, pour over the top of the rice, and then stir it just a little, and then cover it tightly with heavy tin foil. Then we have to bake it in a preheated oven for 32 minutes. And then we remove it from the oven and let it stand covered for 10 minutes. Then we uncover and we fluff it with a fork, and we taste it to adjust the seasonings. And then he was supposed to increase the oven to 475, return it to the oven until the rice is browned and crusted. I could skip that step as far as I'm concerned, but you know, for you guys' sake, I will do it tonight. I'm really kind of trying to find more bean recipes. If you guys have any good bean recipes, could you kind of comment below, tell me where you get your recipes for beans, any kind of bean. I'm trying to think outside the box and do something different with my beans. So if you can think of any, guys, I'd appreciate it. Oven's all preheated to 400. I was really happy to get this recipe because it's such a cheap meal. You know, if you have leftover meat, really, any kind of leftover meat, if you have even tofu would be good in this. or no meat. And you could even leave it and make it vegetarian. Add more veggies. You could add zucchini and I don't know, you could add other things to it. And but I really like this because I have used my chicken broth, my homemade chicken broth, my homegrown onion, homegrown garlic, homegrown green pepper. The carrots I would normally use homegrown, but I bought those at the farmer's market. And also I am using the rice that I got from the food pantry. So super duper cheap meal, and it makes a lot. So if you have a big family, this is fantastic for your family. Really, really good family meal. Filling, and you got a little bit of that meat in it. You could use pork. Even barbecued shredded pork, I would just cut it up, maybe chop it instead of have it in shreds, and I wouldn't hesitate to add that. That would be delish. And so chicken, pork, turkey, ham, steak. Yeah, you could do beef fried rice, sure. Cut up some steak. Yeah, I don't think there's a meat that I wouldn't put in there. That's what I love about it. You guys know, if you know me, you've been watching my channel a while, you know I like versatile recipes, and so this one definitely is, because you can use so many different things in it, and I love that. Love, love, love. And it's delicious. I mean, this is coming from a chef. I don't know where this guy's a chef, but he's really good. You got to check him out. He's hilarious. He's so funny. Cracks me up every time I watch him. It's almost ready. A little bit longer. I suppose you could use brown rice in this and maybe cook it a little bit longer. I'm not really sure. I like white rice myself, so I just use the white. It's great leftover. You know, you could do a Chinese night. You could make your own fried rice. You could make your own egg rolls. I've done that before with turkey leftover from Thanksgiving. You could make your own wontons or dumplings, something like that, and gee, that would make a great little Chinese food night. Okay, so it's just about to a boil. I'm gonna turn you guys around to face the pot again. Okay, there we go. So here we go. A little. Ooh, does that smell good, guys? That warm broth with the soy sauce in it smells great, and it hits the garlic, and ooh, doesn't it smell good? Okay, so get plenty of tinfoil, guys. You want it to be really tight. It's going to be really, really tight over the pan. What we're doing is holding in all that steam to cook that rice. It works great too. Just be careful because it's quite full. So I just make sure that every little bit is really crammed down there. It's really important that we get all that done. Okay. Okay, so goes. Okay. I'm gonna set the timer for 32 minutes, I believe he said. There we go, guys. Okay, I'll pop back on when it comes out of the oven. Okay, guys, sorry about that. At the very last minute, I had to run off and pick up my granddaughter, and then my son stopped to pick her up, and we all ate dinner. I didn't get a chance to film it. He was in a hurry. But anyway, it came out fantastic. This is what I've got left over. Look how much there is in there. I've got all that left over, and 2 adults and 1 5-year-old ate. We ate plenty. There was plenty there. So you guys, don't hesitate to make this recipe. Remember, foodwishes.com. Check him out on YouTube and on, just on the internet. Do a search on him, and that's where you can go to get this recipe. And I just want to again say that I am not being sponsored by him. I'm not making any money, anything like that. I just wanted to show you this fabulous new recipe I found. So anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoy. Thanks for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Bye-bye.